The idea of Bluelock wasn't just limited to produce a soccer team of world's best strikers. It was to produce egoists obsessed with leveling up, to create a place where growth isn't optional, but a necessity. A system where staying the same is the fastest way to disappear. Because in Bluelock, talent is just your starting point. What matters is how fast you outgrow the version of yourself from yesterday. Bluelock doesn't reward consistency. It rewards mutation, the ability to shift, adapt, and reforge your identity mid-game. From Jinpachi Ego's twisted philosophy to the very layout of Bluelock itself, everything is engineered to make recession feel like death. In the Team Z trial match, Kwon Wataru made a secret deal with Team V to throw the match in exchange for advancing, while the Team Z evolved and grew stronger mid-match, like Isagi awakening his spatial awareness, Shigiri regaining his speed, and others leveling up. Kwon refused to grow and chose mediocrity, rejecting evolution in process. Even when he realized his betrayal didn't guarantee his safety, he couldn't catch up with the mindset shift happening in his team. Bluelock didn't kill his dream. His refusal to grow did. Ego's vision was clear from the very beginning. In order to survive in Bluelock, one must shift their mindset to adapt and grow. So I found myself asking, what actually forces that shift to happen? Is it the fear of vanishing? The golden dream of becoming the best? Or is there something deeper wired into the concrete of Bluelock? I dug deep into Ego's labyrinth, past the speeches and survival of the fittest slogan, looking for the real engine, and found a gritty truth that his obsession alone isn't enough. Bluelock knows desire needs a target. It needs friction. Bluelock doesn't just isolate you with your ambitions. It strategically surrounds you with the mirror reflecting your deepest insecurities and fiercest competition. It builds pressure by designing your rivals. And this is one of the main pillars of the Bluelock, a pillar called engineered rivalries. Remember that one classmate, the one who's on the same par with you? You never said it out loud, but every grade, every quiz, every small win felt like a quiet scoreboard between you two, an unspoken rivalry. Then one day out of nowhere, they get ahead of you, and suddenly you're not equals anymore. You find asking yourself, where did I lack? What did I do wrong? It stings, and that's the moment when the switch flips, when growth stops feeling like a choice and starts feeling like survival. And Bluelock doesn't wait for that exact emotion to show up. Instead, it engineers it by putting you in a room where everyone is better than you at something, not to break you, but to force you into evolving. You're the average of the 5 people you compare yourself to and spend time with. If you're surrounded by stronger players, you're going to get stronger. It's research-backed. Since it's incredibly hard to find the right people, you can use Polybuzz, the sponsor of today's video, to artificially simulate that environment. In Polybuzz, you can chat with Isagi, Rin, Bachira, Kaiser, and any character you like. You can even create a character and a group of characters. And that's what we're doing. We're going to click Create and fill out the prompts for every character. And now we have our own Bluelock team with Ego, Isagi, and others. And thanks to my skillful prompting, they are acting exactly the way I want them to. Inside, you can create any characters you want, and they have hundreds of thousands of characters in the library to choose from. Make sure to use code EMO33 for exclusive unlocks. Now, back to the video. Jinpachi Ego understands this thing better than anyone. Talent blooms faster when it's staring directly into the eyes of its own potential replacement. Take Yoichi Isagi's first system-crafted nightmare, Nagi Seishiro, the effortless genius who outplayed Isagi without even trying in their first match. While Isagi poured every ounce of his strategy, his reading of the game into play, Nagi casually trapped a rocket pass behind his own neck. His unimaginable control over the ball made Isagi question his entire game. It was the moment when Isagi realized, it's not just competition, it's a gladiatorial matchmaking that system prepares for its players. Nagi wasn't just an opponent, he was Isagi's first growth catalyst, a benchmark systematically placed in Isagi's path. And Bluelock doesn't stop there. It amplifies the system constantly. For instance, take a look at second selection, where they didn't just pair players randomly, they created kill or be killed duels. Bachira, the dribbling artist of Bluelock, forced to break down the immovable wall of defense that was Ryu. His towering presence in the field and elegant defenses wasn't just a challenge for Bachira, it was a benchmark. A barrier designed to force Bachira into growing. That's how Bluelock crafts monsters, by forcing players into collision where their strengths hit a ceiling, and the only way out is to break through. And as I said earlier, it's a never-ending loop. The system constantly re-engineers itself. As the player evolves, rivals evolve too. But here's the twisted genius. where I started seeing the real psychological wiring beneath Bluelock's concrete. These engineered rivalries don't just push players to be better, they expose them to something raw and vulnerable, hiding behind all the declaration of becoming the best striker in the world. And that's the fear of being left out. Fear of seeing your dream being crushed by the competition. And this brings us to the system's most insidious pressure point. It doesn't just surround you with rivals designed to outgrow you, it weaponizes the cracks in your own armor. The next pillar isn't about the rivals outside, it's about the war within. Insecurities disguised as ego. Ever been in that meeting or class presentation? You prepped for days, practiced in the mirror, told yourself, I've got this, I'm the expert here. You walk in projecting calm, maybe even a little swagger. Then they present. The person who didn't even bring notes, who speaks effortlessly, ideas flowing like they're just breathing genius. And you feel your own carefully rehearsed points crumbling in your hands like stale bread. You try to play cool, while coping with the fact that you were outshined by the person, simply because he is better. You might crack a joke to deflect or say something like, well, my approach is different, trying desperately to reclaim the spotlight. But that's not a real confidence talking. That's your insecurities wearing the mask of ego, the panic of trying to prove that you're not a weak link and you're not invisible. Bluelock doesn't just see through that mask, it rips it off and puts you into a situation where you can't hide behind fake confidence, where the only way out is to become something real. That's the insecurity of players driving them to perform at their peak. To understand this better, look no further than Baru Shoei, the self-proclaimed king whose entire person is built around a fortress of ego. His absolute refusal to pass and roars of dominance in the field screams superiority, and it's clearly intimidating for Isagi. Unlike Baru, Isagi's insecurities are more vocal. His inner voice constantly screams, I'm mediocre, I'm just a stepping stone, I don't have what they have. It's a brutal self-awareness. Ego's manipulation doesn't just reveal this insecurity, it harnesses it, leaving players with no choice but to evolve or disappear. But surviving the ego wars is just the first trial. There's something else in the system you encounter after you bleed out your insecurity and rebuild yourself stronger. Bluelock doesn't just create monsters, it starves them. It takes the hard-won strength you crafted from your insecurities and says, good, now do it again faster. And this time, don't flinch when you step on the dream of the person beside you. This is where the system unfolds, the next challenge for players. The next phase isn't just about the growth spurts, it's about two brutal gears of Bluelock mechanism, normalization of ruthlessness and the performance treadmill. To understand these broader concepts, watch Isagi in the U20, not when he scores, when he sacrifices Corona for the sake of winning, his own teammate, the guy who kept passing him, ram for him, and when he was done, out of breath, with his legs barely holding up, Isagi sees it. He knows Corona is struggling, but he still uses him, one last sprint to drag the defenders away, just to open space for himself. Corona gives everything and then collapses. Isagi doesn't even look back. That's not just a strategy. That's what happens when empathy gets replaced with instincts, forcing players to embrace ruthlessness. Bluelock teaches you that. It systematically burns the guilt away, because the first time you turn your back on your teammate, it hurts. But over time, it's normal. It's a part of evolution. The system rewires your brain to install some brutal facts into it. Partnerships are temporary. People helping you today might be the ones you leave behind tomorrow, and your dream? It's built on moments like this, where survival basically means choosing your shot over their dream. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. That's how ruthlessness is feeded into players' minds. Now look at Nagise Shiro's super goal, the impossible volley against Rin. 5 touches, 1 shot. The kind of a match that breaks the internet. Everyone called it genius, a miracle. Weeks later, Nagi is slouching on a fancy couch, rewatching the same shot. And he isn't proud, but bored. Not because it wasn't amazing, because it's already behind him. That's the performance treadmill. See, Bluelock doesn't let you savor peaks. It erases them. Ego's voice constantly echoes in your mind. What's next? Your greatest achievement becomes yesterday's news before the sweat dries off. The rankings reset and new monsters emerge. And suddenly, that highlight play isn't a badge of glory, it's just a past, a reminder of who you used to be. Bluelock's system manufactures this perpetual hunger, where you score and the system silently whispers, prove it wasn't luck, where you evolve and the system says, do it faster next time. The moment your best isn't new anymore, the system moves on, and it never lets you rest. These pillars aren't just growth mechanisms, they are psychological triggers, designed to dig into your fear of being average. In Bluelock, growth isn't some inspiring journey, it's a necessity for survival. Every betrayal, every breakdown, every brutal self-reflection, it's all part of the system reshaping you into something unstoppable. And that's the real cost of greatness, because in this system, evolution isn't a path, it's a condition.